So Ed, right now, what you'll see is that you have a very lovely frame from the fourth finger to the first finger. The fourth finger is not completely taut, it's a little bit rounded. It'd be nice, that's beautiful, if it were just the way you have it now, which is a teeny bit more round. It doesn't have to be that rounded. But the direction of the tip of your finger is going down the fingerboard towards your nose. The tip of the finger is not directed 90-degree angle, it's directed that way. That's excellent. Your other fingers are also directed towards your nose, but your first finger down here is pulled back. And your wrist is in a beautiful alignment with your forearm. There's no kink in there whatsoever, it's just beautifully aligned. And your thumb is just kind of hanging out here, and it's not grabbing. And you're especially, you're not grabbing there. No, I can tell that you want to grab, okay. But right now, everything is fairly loose. And what I did earlier to get you here took a lot of effort, but I was trying to sort of, in here, unjam. Anywhere that is jammed, or anywhere you have an instinct to grab, you need to release that. So I'd like you to now please tighten your hand, tighten, make a tight fist, but keeping the form as it is, and then release. And that feeling that you have when you release is something you need to keep returning to. Now, one thing I'd like you to notice is that your first finger, the base knuckle joint down here, remembering that the bone extends even further back, is very far back. It's pulled back a long way in here, excuse me, right in there. It's pulled back towards the scroll in that direction, as far back as it will go, and that's normal for your first finger to belong there. How you have been playing before, and I'm going to do something I don't want to do, is you have been raising, can I borrow your first finger? You've been raising that finger, and you've been having this bottom joint here much higher up. So can you let go, please? Bring your whole joint, your hand, just loosen, and bring it up higher. There you are. Now, that probably feels more familiar to you. Can you now bring it lower down and back a bit? The first finger, not the other fingers, just the first finger. So I'm going to borrow you for a second. Yes. Put your pinky back down, please, where it was. And see this joint here. Can we borrow this joint here? And I'd like you to bring it back and then push it up and high. So I'll show you on myself. Can I borrow your violin, please? Thank you. So, actually I can do it like this. Hang on. Reverse the direction. Oh, maybe you can take it. So basically, Ed, you've gone from this, you've been playing with a very high joint here. We've dropped it all, we've rotated your arm so it doesn't have to make such an effort to come around. The pinky is sort of towards the nose, but the first finger and the second finger, but the first finger especially, has been gone from high and up and coved over to back and lower, and my elbow is further back too. So that I'm almost playing my first finger, which may feel very weird to you, is like this. It's permanently curved. And on every other string that you're on, exactly the same feeling is going to happen where the fingertips land, but inside here, which is at the base, there was a word that book uses, the anchor. It's going to feel a little different on the inside of the hand because, of course, as you go around the neck, you're going to be hitting different parts of the string. On the G string will feel quite different. But my fingers landing on the string never feel different at all. But this here, this axle is moving with each string. So there's never different circumstances for how you move whole and half step finger patterns. If you look from this angle, there's that finger pattern, there's that.
You have to move over there because it's too much. You're flooding
Like
the camera with light.
Can you see that? And the first finger still has lots of room to go back into the whole step pattern. The pinky can't move really beyond where it is, okay? But the first finger has lots of room. So if you want to do the finger pattern, the frame with a low 2 touching the first finger, you have to bring it back here. And you've been doing something maybe from in here, but it's really, you're just pulling it back. So you're sliding the 2 back to touch the 1 here, touching. And here you're sliding it up to touch the 3. But the feeling in my hand, if my hand's resting, it's like this. If I have to make the low 2, I slide back from down here. Okay. But all of the time that I've been showing you this, my thumb is never pushing. The moment I start to squeeze or push, and especially when I push high up, the curved wrist bones cave in on themselves and they completely clamp the hand. And you literally can't open the frame to the 1/4 space that it needs to be to play in tune because your wrist has pushed your fingers in towards one another. So it's almost impossible, and it's very, very painful to try and make that happen. But when you keep your thumb lower, your thumb's been up here, keep it much, much lower, so that the contact place of the thumb to the neck, which changes a little string to string, but basically you're on the inner side of your thumb, with the fleshy part of your thumb slightly towards your nose, and it's never grabbing, but it's definitely touching. It's a counterbalance, but without any grab. So this is the downward pressure, and the thumb kind of just supports it, but it doesn't grab. Do you have any questions?
So this joint right here,
Yeah.
right there,
Yeah,
the
and
violin is always resting against that,
It's resting,
right?
yeah. So, but not resting that far down. Oh, actually, yes, I see what you mean. Yeah, right. Resting like that on the E string. If you do that on the G string, the violin might slip out.
Right,
But so it's a good to start on the A string and the E string. Yeah.
right.
But I'm not holding it there. I'm just letting it be there, just as though I'm standing, but I'm not standing rigidly. I'm just. There's a lot of give, and it's hard, especially for beginner students, to trust that the violin's not going to fall. But I've noticed that you tend to have your head a little bit that way and down, as opposed to just straight and round to the left. So I recommend keep this really close to your neck. Put this across the collarbone down here, which you're doing very nicely, and then look further to the left, and it'll just keep it a little bit more clamped in there without you having to clamp with tension, just the natural, easy clamp, as opposed to you do a bit of this